Let's start with Spurs, shall we? Because it's really important. And their group is so tight. Anyone in that group can qualify, including Marseille, who are currently bottom. How difficult a place to go is the Velodrome?
Yeah, there's one stand that's not going to be open, so it's going to help them out a little bit. But it's going to be tough. They know it's going to be a tough game. It's a cup final. I mean, it boils down to this. So if I had to manage one team and look at both groups of players, I want to be in Tottenham's dressing room. But I'd also want them to play on the front foot from word go. You know, if they start giving a goal start like they've done recently, because they're playing so defensive, then they could come unstuck. And they need to go for it. They need to get the ball forward early to Son and Kane. And they need to use their offensive players to really dominate this Marseille side. But it is the most competitive group in the Champions League, and it would be a failure if they didn't qualify for the knockout stages. It really would, having looked at the group when the draw come out.
I think the group's excellent. It's the tightest group by a mile, Tim. I think, as he says, I think there's only 2 points from Spurs to Marseille. Does it give Conte a problem that a draw suits them, knowing the way that he sometimes plays, or should the decision be, look, I need to go and win the game, simple as?
Well, I think it should be that. Yeah. He should go and win the game. But I think knowing Antonio and the way he goes about his work, he will know that, you know, get behind the ball, make it very difficult for him, catch him on the counter-attack. Tottenham are very good on the counter-attack. Kulusevski's been a huge miss for him. Richarlison's out as well. So they're missing that three-pronged attack. But I think Son and Kane have enough firepower to take Tottenham through. I really do, but it can get edgy. I mean, if they start going behind in this game, I fear for them. I really do.
How different is it when you're a manager and you've got to be in the stands? Because didn't you put yourself in the stands once, a self-imposed ban?
Yeah, I lasted about 5 minutes. I mean, it's impossible. It really is. I mean, you go there with the right intentions. You think you can get a better view of the game, the cooler head. But it's very difficult down there. When you're touchline, the game's so quick, it's difficult to see everything. That's normally when a manager's got a coach sitting up top for him. But it's almost impossible. And someone with the emotion of Antonio Conte, you see him jumping around. I mean, it just breathes to his players. Sometimes it can be good, and sometimes it can be a little bit anxious. Certainly the crowd get anxious as well. But you'd want him on the touchline with you. I think he's proven that the guy wins. You know, he knows how to win, and he knows how to win big games. And there's none bigger this season than this game tonight.
It's amazing, Tim, because Laura and I were talking about it earlier on, and I couldn't agree with you more. Any time when I was boss myself, there's no doubt about it, you get a better view, whether it's director's box, you get a better view in the whole game. But balancing the whole thing out, I still think it is more beneficial to be in the touchline, particularly for somebody like Conte.
Absolutely. I think he's barking orders out all the time. You know, I'm not sure they're actually instructions what players can take any notice of, but it just burns his energy, you know, and it keeps him, by jumping around like he does, just seems to keep him active, you know. And when you're looking, I want to play for this guy, you know. When I look at him on the touchline, he lives the game, he breathes it. It's a bit like Pep. Jurgen's the same. You want to play for a manager like that, you know, who's throwing everything at it. And I don't think he's an actor. I really don't. I think it's pure emotion.
Yeah. I want to give you a stat on Spurs falling behind in games. So they have done in all their past 4 games, and also 8 of their past 11. What is it about that? Ali, you were talking about it, about just trying to start better. But why do you get that sort of a slow start from Spurs at the moment, do you think?
It was interesting. I did their game at the weekend, and I watched probably 5 minutes of their warm-up. I wasn't happy with what I was looking at.
Was that right in the warm-up?
I thought it was. I mean, you always look for excuses, Sally.
Slack.
I'm not saying this is the reason, but I was just looking at the warm-up even before the start of the game, and I was thinking, I'm not sure they're sharp enough, you know, or anything they do. So perhaps Antonio can look at that. But also I think it is a little bit of a negative approach when they start games, and when they start throwing caution to the wind with the firepower what they have and the players who can play on the front foot. I think they need to start that way for me. I mean, you're wasting good talent if you're asking them just to sit behind the ball and be so far from the opposition's goal. So get the ball forward, get it get it forward quickly, and I think they can steamroll the teams. I really do. I think they've got the capability of doing it.
Tell me a bit more about the warm-up specifically. What weren't you happy with?
Well, it was just slow. It was just one pace, all running around like Mo Farah. I want to see quick, slow, and a little bit of sharpness. Not tackles, not flying in, I don't mean that. I just felt it was a keep ball session, and it looked slow. It looks like they were tired, and you can tell sometimes, and you can tell in the players' eyes and the way they're working. And listen, I wasn't there, but I was watching it, and I was interested in it. And it just, I was saying, someone was sitting next to me. I just said, I don't like this warm up. It's not good. I don't like the sharpness in it. And they started really badly.
Right. See, at that point, is that not up to
the coach?
Yeah. To say, right, come on, hey, nip it right away.
I don't think Antonio is one of those who goes out and watches, where Jurgen definitely does, Pep does. They go and watch the warm-up, so they'll be able.
Jurgen watches the opposition.
Absolutely, watches their warm-up. I mean, if he would have seen Tottenham's warm-up, he'd have been delighted.
Yeah,
maybe next weekend.
You're right, because they go on and they against Bournemouth and they go 2-0 down and then make a job for themselves to get back into it and then eventually win it. One interesting thing I read this morning in the papers is that Antonio Conte doesn't travel with the team on the coach, and I'm not suggesting for any reason that translates into what they do on the football pitch, but tonight he will, because it's going to be the last chance for him to actually have a chat with them until 15 minutes after the final whistle. How on earth, how do you make sure that you are getting into your players' heads on the coach, and is he going to be standing up on the microphone? Is he going to be walking up and down the aisle and talking to them? What are those final things that you need to get into the players' heads?
I think just the individual stuff, whatever he thinks is necessary for the game tonight. I just think the boys need to take the headache tablets there with him, don't they? Because he's going to be in their ear rolls on that bus. They'll probably get a little bit of traffic over there as well. Listen, I think he's very intense. No stone unturned with him. So any little detail what he might think will help them. He wants to do his job. Once they cross that line, it's up to them. But he just want to make sure he does everything to prepare them to win this football match. So, look, the second bus now, I think it's very common, because there's so many staff. I mean, when you look around now, there's so many staff not only on the touchline with them, but sitting in the stands as well. So they need 2 buses to carry everyone there. I don't know what they all do, and nor probably does Antonio, but they're going for a reason, and they've created themselves a job.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.